It develops. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and TV and to stay indoors at all costs.
As of 12 noon tomorrow, say goodbye to the world as you know it. Say goodbye to
Metal Priestesses.
Hello, welcome to Metal Priestesses Podcast. This is Jenny Shore.
And I'm Marina Malfredo. Today on our show, we have the lovely and talented Carlene Carter.
Carlene is June Carter's daughter and Johnny Cash's stepdaughter.
And she's part of the legendary Carter family, whose contributions dig deep into the heart of American music history.
Let's welcome our dear friend, CC. Take it away, girls.
Welcome to the Metal Priestesses Podcast.
Laura! Oh my God! Marina!
Hi! My love.
I'll take these off.
Yeah, so Carlene, before we start, I want to introduce you to the only person you don't know here. And,
Okay. We'll put
and
this on
this
so I can
is
see.
Jesse Jacobson. And Jesse is the guitar player the lead guitar player in the new and reformed Backstage Pass, who we've been gigging with the last couple of years. But
They say reformed, but they're basically still big troublemakers.
You
So
never
yeah,
reformed, right?
they'll never be
No.
reformed. No.
how are you? It's so good to see your beautiful face. Hi.
Well, it's good to see y'all. I can't see shit without my glasses on. But I think I got to take them off or else I'll have the rain light thing on. I have such bad lighting in my house. I mean, it's just the worst. I can't even do therapy except in the dark. On FaceTime.
Hi, Carlene. It's been such a long time.
I'm so glad to see you. Look how beautiful, and you've got your Riddler thing on.
I know. We were talking, and I was thinking, God, I remember when we first became aware of you. I think we saw your album cover, your very first album, or a picture of you in the magazine. We were like, oh my God, look at how beautiful she is. This
I'm gonna
is
fix her up.
No, we were like, no, look how beautiful she is. That's Nicola. That's who Nicola's gonna marry, and we were gonna meet you, and it was like such a big deal.
My
I
because Nick
love
was
y'all.
a friend of ours, at the time, and you were new to our little circle.
I know, and I fell madly in love with that circle.
I know, we fell madly in love with you. And the other thing that we were talking about is, when you got involved with that group of people, and you were just such a pioneer in your blend of country music, of like sort of melting British pop, I feel, with country. How was that for you?
Well,
Can you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Well, it was like I didn't know how to get what was in my head out. And I had connected with this management team of Ed Tickner and Martin Smith. Martin was a Welshman who was great friends with Dave Edmunds. Well, they also managed Emmylou Harris and Ronnie Crowell and Nicolette Larson. So
yeah, I lived with Nicolette.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
They had the idea to take me over there and they were trying to reform Brinsley Schwartz unbeknownst to Brinsley. I don't think I've ever even told anybody that, but I think that deep down inside, they were trying to make that happen.
Wow.
But it did in some ways because Bob Andrews and Brinsley from The Rumor, they produced the first record. And I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was that I didn't want to sing, I wanted to have hits, but I didn't want to sing a bunch of George Jones covers as Dave wanted me to.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Dave Edmunds? Or
Yeah, the first thing he ever said to me was, do you know George Jones? And I went, yeah, they used to come over our house for dinner, him and his wife, Tammy. Edmunds was like,
But you did do that duet with him, Baby Ride Easy.
I did, yeah.
Which was incredible. And that was that something that Johnny Cash and your mom, June Carter, did together?
I learned it. It was written by a guy out of Texas. Richard Dobson's his name. And I learned it from Rodney Crowell. And when Rodney and I did it, it was much slower and, kind of waltzy-like almost.
Right.
If I drove a truck, and I were a waitress, that kind of thing.
I love it.
And but so Dave and I singing together was a real natural progression of stuff. But I didn't know what to do with myself because the first person I went in with was with Dave and Terry, and I can't remember who else was on those first sessions, but Rodney Crowell had come with me, as well as Hank DeVito, who was married to Nicolette Larson. It's just a funny old world,
Wow.
We're all connected. But so I got to experiment. They had this idea of putting this blue blood country chick with a bunch of British rockers, and it seemed to make sense to me because I couldn't stand still on stage. I didn't really know what I was doing per se. I was just writing songs, and I really just thought I was just going to be a singer-songwriter and not necessarily a singer.
How did your family feel about you sort of straying a bit?
Well, the thing about it is they really influenced me to do whatever my heart wanted to do and whatever my creative muse was bringing to me. They told me to be unique, be yourself. Don't try and be like anyone else. And so I was brought up with the whole idea of someday I would carry on the Carter family legacy. And
Yes.
to me, that seems so far away, and it still seems so far away, although I'm right in the middle of it now. And you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's great. It's like it's in my older age, I get to rock these Carter family songs a little bit in my own fashion whenever I like. But the thing about it was it didn't work out with Dave, and I liked him so much I didn't want to fire just him, so I fired Rodney, went back to where he came from, and Dave stepped aside, and the rumor came in. Like Dave Robinson just brought the rumor in, and
Okay.
so that was kind of how I got in there. And the first time that I met Nick Lowe, as y'all know, was at a session for that first album, and he played bass on a song called I Once Knew Love. And I was playing the piano on it, and Nick comes over the talkback and says, hey, CC. Never called me CC, crazy, right? But he said that, and I knew in the first day that I met him, I knew that I was going to marry that guy. I don't know why I knew that.
And was that for the album Musical Shapes? Was that the start of that? No, not yet.
First album. And
Okay.
so I started seeing each other whenever we saw each other.
Okay.
So it was totally love at first sight.
Well, I don't know how. I think he said something about my ass was a little big back then. He did. He told me, he said, when I first met you, I thought your ass was really big. And I was thinking, says the guy that's stuffing himself into the 28 jeans that are falling off of him.
No, I remember going thrift shopping with you in London, and there was this really expensive vanity stool, and you go, I don't think Nick Lowe cares what I sit my ass on. I don't think he's going to buy it for me. So we didn't get it.
Carlene, go back to that session. I want to hear about that.
When the rumor, the
Yeah.
first one, well, for one thing is the rhythm section. They were amazing. Andrew Bodner and Steve, the names escaping me.
Yes, stuck in my head.
We'll get it. We'll
Yeah.
get it back. And Brinsley Schwartz and Bob Andrews. And Bob was very animated and really excited and stuff. And
Was Martin Belmont on it as well?
Martin didn't play on the record. That
Oh,
was
okay.
interesting. I had met Martin before when I met Nick and hung out with those guys, and before all of this started to happen.
Okay.
And my sister Rosie ended up hanging out with Martin Belmont for a while. He asked her to marry him, and she went home and married someone else. She told him yes, but then went home and married someone else.
You Southern
well.
girls. Oh my God.
I remember being with Martin Belmont in a car, and I was drunk driving, and he said, that was a bit of good driving. I was like,
He was great.
You know, Yeah, Carlene, you were talking a minute ago about that legacy of being, a Carter girl. And boy, last year you and John Carter put together that incredible album and that trip down through the history and bring it up to the current times with across generations. How did that come up to be?
Well, actually, when I did Carter Girl, which I started doing in 2012 and it came out in 2014, I did it with Don Was in LA. I had said to them, I said, we should go back and find old tapes and use them and make a record with our foremothers.
That's your mother, that's your grandmother.
My mom, my grandma and my Aunt Sarah are on the record.
So your grandmother is named Maybelle?
Yeah. And so John Carter had a lot of stuff in the vault, a lot of things that he came across. And one was a record that Helen and Anita had recorded that had never come out. So we had a lot of stuff with Mom singing with them on their record. And then there was a lot of outtakes of June. And we just pieced it together. John Carter did a really good job figuring it all out. To be honest, when I was doing press for it, I said, guys, I need a family tree here to just freaking remember who's saying on what, because it was calculated in the sense of like, it starts out with Sarah by herself, Sarah Carter. Her and Grandma used to communicate through recording reel-to-reel tapes to each other instead of sending phone calls were too expensive, so they'd send these reel-to-reel tapes. And so we found this old reel-to-reel tape that Sarah goes, hey Maybelle, it's Maybelle, it's Sarah here, and she's like from on the tape recorder, and she says, I won't sing this song here, maybe you could get Johnny Cash to record it, or and the thing about it is it's a standard. It's not, I don't think she wrote it. It's called Father Along. And, but it ended up with my cousin Dale, who was her grandson. Yes, her grandson. And then it ended up with his daughter's daughter. I mean, it was just like this whole kind of like piece it together thing. And I got to sing with Mom a lot. I got to play a lot of guitar on it, which was really fun. And I played on one of Grandma's old guitars, a Stromberg, that was very much like her Gibson L5 1928 one that I just got to play for this benefit for the Country Music Hall of Fame. I got to take it out of the Country Music Hall of Fame thing and do that. But
was it easy to play?
Together and what?
Was it easy to play? I mean, was it comfortable or?
The weird thing about it is that I played it more when I was a smaller person.
Right.
And it was hard to play because I didn't know how to play with a pick yet. And my little fingers, it just always seemed big and hard to play. And when I picked it up, it felt so easy. And Marty said, that thing just plays itself. And I said, Lord, I hope it.
Yeah, some of those old instruments do not play themselves. It's that maybe they're used to them, but it's like, it can be really difficult.
They have kept this thing like mummified, basically. They keep it in an airtight museum box, and you go through there and see it. Did we go to the Hall of Fame arena when you came to town?
No, but I went the next day with Pat DiPuccio, which was great. We went to the Johnny Cash Museum, which
I have a poster from it.
And I have the photograph.
Whoops.
Yeah, the photograph of you and me and Spock and Johnny there.
Yes.
I have a poster from it.
Oh, there's our picture.
Oh, right.
The rain light there. Everybody looks really good.
Yeah.
When was that taken?
That was last winter. That was like exactly a year ago, I think, to the date, because I came out the week after Thanksgiving to see all my Nashville buds who I was really overdue to see Carlene and Spock, who was also with Backstage Pass, and a good friend who lives out in Franklin. And I just had this like amazing time and got to hang and got to eat all these great restaurants with Carlene and Spock. And so
Had a great time.
going to the Johnny Cash Museum was totally a highlight.
And
then-
look, Carlene, there's the man in black.
Oh, the man in black. He's everywhere.
Yeah, because that's from the Johnny Cash Museum as well. I was in Nashville 3 years ago.
Oh, I wasn't here yet, I don't think.
No, you weren't there yet. Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Carlene, are you doing any music? I don't, with COVID and such a crazy world. Are you doing any music right now? Are you writing? What are you doing?
I've been honestly, the last couple of years since I've lived here, I've written maybe 4 songs. I've not written a lot at all. And during COVID, I gained the COVID-19. And but a few
You don't look like it.
I've lost 20 something pounds. So
yeah, you look amazing.
Better. I do. It feels nice to not be rolling over your Spanx. I don't have Spanx on. It's awesome. Yeah, so I haven't been doing much of that, but I have been percolating and making outlines for my book, which is I'm really looking forward to getting down to writing. And every time I find, I'm looking for old pictures of back in the day, from time I was a kid to when my mom was a kid, all the way up to now. Anybody got any good pictures that not a lot of people have seen? I need pictures. It brings memories back to me. Like, I'm going to have to interview y'all.
Definitely.
You and Tony, because y'all will have memories that I will have, that won't be forefront in my mind, but I will remember as soon as we talk about it. So
I remember styling you for the Cruel to Be Kind video. It was your actual wedding. And
Yeah.
I got to pick out your wedding dress. It was just, we went to this vintage shop, just you and me. And
it was really wonderful. I love it.
It was silver and yeah, and then we got to be in the video. It was so much fun. And it was such great memories. And the Tropicana Motel. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I think I got crabs sitting on the couch in your room.
Oh, a lot of good things went down there though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was so much fun. And they got all like proud when it was, because it was your wedding and everything, and they made AstroTurf.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And when it was so AstroTurfy that when the sun shined on it, it was like practically melting your feet. So hot you couldn't walk across it. I remember putting my roller skates on that night and skating past Nick's mom, Pat Lowe, and I said, "Where's Drain?" That's Nick's father, and she said, "I don't know, darling, but I fear the worst."
Down the pub.
Drain
down the pub.
Swimming pool in his suit. He's walked down into the pool, and he's chilling.
Yeah. Remember Barney's Beanery? Remember hanging out at Barney's Beanery?
Oh yeah, I still go to Barney's Beanery when I'm.
So
I mean,
yeah,
it's still got good chili.
and it's all good material for the book. We've been talking about your book for like 20 years, and
I know.
I'm so glad you're so deep in it. I actually think I might have a couple photos for you. So
that would be great. That would be so great, because it's like it's gonna be. I've thought a lot of different ways of doing it, so I'm gonna try a couple of different things before I just start doing it myself. If I do it myself, y'all won't ever get to read it because I will keep adding to it, and it would just be like this friggin' War and Peace thing. It's like that thing, Carlene, she did way too much stuff in her life. But it's gonna, I know that a lot of publishers sometimes, when regards to somebody that comes from a family like mine, they want dirt and they want to know things that are maybe not the most flattering to your family. The thing about what my story is that I only go by what I knew myself, not what anybody told me was going on or anything like that. And because of that, I would say I have pretty good memories of everything, even when times were like rough and tough. I mean, I definitely had my own battles that I fought through, but it's going to be hopefully a page turner and it's going to be cathartic, I hope.
I know Jessie had a question she wanted to ask you about about.
When did your two families come together?
Mom started working with Johnny Cash and when I was like 7 years old. And then she married him when I was 12. So they got married in 1968. And
Wow.
I turned 13 later that year. They got married in March, and my birthday, I turned 13, was in Hendersonville, which was out in the country back then. And now it's like this heaving suburbia of Nashville, but 20 miles out.
Wow.
What was Johnny's big record for Folsom Prison when he recorded?
I Walk the Line.
What he did live from, what is it, live from Folsom Prison?
Folsom Prison Blues, I think.
Blues, yeah.
That's the song, the big song.
Yeah.
And then he did live from San Quentin. He liked going to the prisons and cheering.
Yeah. I think Linda Ronstadt did a prison with him.
She did in Tennessee, the Tennessee State Penitentiary.
Wow.
And that was her first television show, was on the Johnny Cash show. And they sang I Never Will Marry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was a huge influence to me because I got to see her play live at the Troubadour when I was 14.
Wow.
And she went on stage, and I liked her records and stuff, and I liked the Stone Ponies. And when this is back when I think most of the Eagles were playing with her as her back band. And she went out there, she had a tambourine and a denim mini skirt on. And I don't think she had underwear on either, as I like having underwear on. Skirt just keeps everything flowing. And that's what I want to do. I wanted her to record my songs. I wanted, all these different things.
Yeah.
Because of her and Emmy Lou, and I would say Dolly, but I didn't quite get into Dolly till a bit later.
So when you talk about influences, I'm really interested to know how both Johnny and your father, Carl Smith, influenced your trajectory, because you said at first you just thought you were going to be a songwriter and not much of a singer.
Well, I came from a family of singers, and my Aunt Nita had the most amazing voice in the world. So if you are starting to listen to yourself for the first couple of years of singing and you don't sound like Anita Carter, you just think, oh, I might as well not bother. And as far as being a better musician, my dad, not saying a better musician, but my dad's career, he stopped when my first album came out. It's the year he retired, and he just had enough. He just wanted to raise quarter horses and be a rancher. That's what he wanted to do. And he was smart with his money, and he kept buying land. And now it's like this, he had 1,200 acres at one point, and now it has turned into like one of those places that has 5 acres per lot and these giant friggin' massive houses on it. But his barn is still there, his arena that he built.
Now, when you play now, you play auto harp as well, as a tribute to your mom.
Hear the rest of
Wait 1 second, Marina. Your show now, you do sort of a retrospective, and you show some of your old costumes. And what does it usually consist of, like your current show?
Well, I have a full band, and when I go to Europe, I usually take the whole band, and they're called the Lucky Ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're great. And then the two, I also have a trio that's myself and Chris Casello on guitar and Al Hill on keyboards. And we all sing together, and it's just a rockin' little country show that I do, and I tell lots of stories. For the last few years, I've told a lot of stories about Mom and the Carter family, and because of the Carter family album too.
Yeah.
And the next thing I do musically will be one of my records, just with my stuff on it. But I really have got some ideas about what I want to do. I got a pedal board built. Okay, this is for us. I got a pedal board built by Steve Winstead. He put it all together for me. And I told him I wanted a wah-wah pedal because I want to try my auto harp out on a wah-wah pedal.
Oh, that'd be
So
great.
Hendrix. It's so Hendrix.
No,
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to run it on the auto harp all through it. But I played a show with Emmylou Harris and Marty Stewart a couple of weeks ago at City Winery benefit. And I had my mom's auto harp and my auto harp. And Emmy was so excited because we were going to do Carter Family song to start out. And I was going to play an auto harp solo. But by the time we went on stage, it was so cold in the tent we were having it was streaming too, but it was a live audience, socially distanced. It was so out of tune that I couldn't even play it. I had to like go take it, Marty.
I remember seeing an Emmylou Harris television show, and it was her, Linda Ronstadt, and I forgot the other gentleman, Ricky Skaggs. And they did Gold Watch.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
That's a Carter Family song. It says AP Carter on it. That's what we were starting our show with.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great songs.
It's a good song. That's the thing about it, is I didn't know until I started wanting to make the Carter Family record that I wanted to be my tribute, Carter Girl, that I found out how many songs there really were. There are well over 600-700 songs. Wow. And a lot of them are reverting back to public domain because they're so old. A lot of those were collected by AP as he walked through the mountains and getting, running up people's porches and saying, hey, play me a song your granddaddy taught you, or, something like that. And so some of them were direct from the homeland, as we call the Scotch-Irish hits of us. Wow.
You were in a couple of plays, Pump Boys and Dinettes, right? And then was there a Carter show as well?
There was when I did Pump Boys and Dinettes for 13 months. It was the longest I ever stayed in one town ever.
What was that show about?
Huh?
What was that show about?
It was about a couple of girls that owned the diner. It was called the Double D Diner, and it was me and Kiki D. And it was written by these two girls and a guy in North Carolina. And it had been on the road in America, and they took it to the West End in London. And Paul Jones from Man for Man was the main guy in it. And Julian Littman was my really good friend from that. He played a pump boy, service station and the diner were across from each other. And of course, Kiki was the big sister, and I was the Deanie little one, whoever I was standing next to was my favorite person in the world as far as men went. It didn't matter which one it was. That's my character. And I loved doing it. It was a really great exercise in discipline and for keeping my voice together. And also, if you sing with Kiki D every night, you better freaking get it right. And I was all these high parts that I don't even bother with that no more. I got somebody younger down the street that does them for me.
And then
I gotta tell you, talking about those parts, I remember when I had the great pleasure to go out on the road with you and your family and John, and got to go to a bunch of shows, and I was so amazed. If somebody had a sore throat one day, like sitting backstage, you would go, oh, okay, I'll take the high part instead, and you take the low, and you take the middle, and you guys would complete you in your.
I was the crutch. Yeah, I was the crutch in that version of the Carter sisters, because my mom and my Aunt Nita particularly, and Nita was sick with rheumatoid arthritis, and sometimes she just couldn't sing and she couldn't make shows. She still came on the road and she made every show she could, but I had to jump around. So if she was there, I didn't sing her parts, or if she was there and having a hard time, I did sing her parts. I sang Mom's parts because Mom varied sometimes, and Helen and Nita liked me to sing the lead with Mom to keep it going in a certain way. It wasn't that Mom varied, she'd sang with them so much. It's that they just really liked the fact that I would rehearse with them and didn't rely on just the memory banks of it. And I learned a lot when I joined back up with the Carter family. After I did Pump Boys and Dinettes, I really realized that I needed to not make another record in England. I needed to go back to my roots and figure out what my next move was. And you know, I think I made the right move. I joined the Carter family for 2 years. And that made me realize that I need to write about what I know, and it doesn't have to have any kind of label on it. I just want it to make me want to tap my toes and wiggle a little. You know, it just had to have the right energy to it and feistiness. And I wanted to make people happy. You know, that's always been what I want to do. It's like if somebody says, you're the only person I've ever come to see that's saying songs about people dying that are so sad and I'm crying, the next minute you come out, you're saying something that's making me howl with laughter. And I'm just, that's what I want to do. I just want to make people feel.
When you listen back to your catalog, which music appeals to you the most now, or is it pretty consistent? I mean, do you like most of what you've done, or are there any that stand out for you?
Well, you know, I've turned 65 now. I look back on, I started listening to some old stuff. It's like I had such a different accent when I lived in England, and it affected the way I sang a bit. I also was being told a lot, like, you're too country for rock and too rock for country. And I was trying to straddle the fence just right. And I never could quite do that until I did Musical Shapes in 1980. But, you know, then I was trying to kind of stay with the times and the record label and all this stuff. And I finally realized when I took that break that I needed to do what I knew and I liked. And I always liked the energy that you get on the records when you play with rock musicians just a little bit more. Although now I'm totally cool either way, because I play guitar and they go with me. I'm the drum.
And you play guitar well too. I was watching the Paste magazine video
yeah.
where it's just you playing. I love in the middle. You go, oops, you're playing one part, but you've got that finger picking down, and it's really impressive. Do you think because you had such a strong musical background when you got into the studios in England and beyond, you were able to sort of avoid a lot of the complications that women in rock or country music face, you know, with having men trying to, you know, push their wills upon, you know, saying this is how you're going to do it and all that?
Well, I was pretty willful in the beginning, and later on, when you start marrying your producers or things change. And with Howie Epstein, when I lived with him, it's like we had more run-ins over the way he was to me in the studio than we ever did any other time. We had more arguments. And finally, after him doing 2 albums, which I'm very proud of, I said, I can't work with you. Either we break up or I can't work with you, because it's got to be one or the other. And so I went off and produced a record on myself, which was really fun. But, you know, I don't know. I think the label, they didn't get behind that record so much. And it's a lot of really good songs on it. The record's called Little Acts of Treason. But these days, when I look back at the stuff, it's more about the songs that I wrote, that I'm trying to see how to do them now. And they mean different things to me now than they did. Or I didn't realize what they meant to me then. I didn't realize what I was writing about. There was an awful lot of drugs involved in the first 5 albums. There's been no drugs involved in any more creations since then. But
I remember, well, you know, Tony, your other stylist, and we had Straight Jacket, and we had some wild times, I know. But I remember we wrote a bunch of songs in the early 80s. And
I think the song that you and I wrote, Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, Greenwich Mean Time. And that was about Glenn Tilbrook. Oh my God. Can you sing it? I've got my heart set on Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time. Ah, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Greenwich Mean Time, something like that.
Yes. And then her and I wrote a song called You Are My Jewel. And she told me that your whole Carter family, all the women, sang that in the car when you guys were traveling around.
Yeah, we did. And I found those lyrics the other day. It's funny, I've been going through lots of papers and still unpacking. I think I'm going to stay here, I hope. I was written, but yeah, it's neat to look back on some of this and go, wow, I was kind of deep, you know, when I was 20 years old. I was kind of, took myself a little freaking serious in the sense of, which makes for good art, makes for good poetry. And also I come from a classical background too, as I had studied classical music since I was a kid, and went to college to have something to fall back on. I was going to be a piano teacher. That was my big idea.
I remember you renting a big Rhodes piano or something just to have in your hotel room, you know, like I was like, wow, you know, she really can play.
I'm sitting in it right now that I've had since 1974, and it has moved everywhere I've moved.
Wow, it's a acoustic piano, like a baby grand or something, upright, or
it's a Yamaha Grand. It's not a grand, I guess it's a baby grand.
Yeah,
almost 6
yeah.
feet.
So speaking of babies, I'm curious if any of your kids or grandkids are sort of funneling into their music life.
Well, Lux, Tiffany's son, my daughter Tiffany, he's a drummer, and he's actually really good. And I've gone to see him play with, he does rock camp every year. Although this year they tried to do it virtually. I think that's impossible, honestly. But he's actually really good. His dad's a drummer and his grandpa's a drummer. Luna was a bass player, and she seems to be able to pick up about anything she wants to. But right now she's into her it's Instagram all the time.
Does she have the Riddler skirt? That's what I want to know.
No. In fact, I know the Riddler skirt is somewhere, but I haven't unpacked every box that I moved out of Tennessee with yet. There's stuff that goes way back, but also too, Tiffany got into my stuff, which is.
We have to get that stuff in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Grammy Museum stat.
I think so. I wondered whatever happened to my white fringe jacket that I wore on thing. I bought that in Paris, and that was a great coat. And Tony, we did that in Tony and Jake's kitchen, that photo shoot.
Yes, with those great cowboy boots and the carpet, that rug, rock and roll. Yeah, that whole photo shoot was amazing. And was that Barney Bubbles also?
Yeah, Tony was real. Tony did a lot of it, you know.
Oh,
yeah, she was Barney apprentice, I guess, or assistant, and she really valued what she learned from him. But she inspired me to work on my my free-spirited outfit stuff.
She did great with you. Yeah, I think those little denim mini skirts and the Riddler. You wore Nick's Riddler jacket with the matching. She made you a matching skirt. Yeah. It was all so much fun. Yeah,
and I was going and getting some Beetle boots. But
yes, those were. I wish I still had my pair. Mine was yellow. I remember yours also. Yeah, we all had them.
I had pink ones. Do you remember?
You had pink ones? Yeah. We all went down Kings Road, right? Isn't that what we did? Or
yeah, we did to Kings Road, and I can't remember the name of the shop, but it was really well known.
Yeah, I missed mine were like taxi color yellow.
I think I had pink ones and turquoise ones or something like that.
Yeah,
I know I had black ones too, but
I also really loved that shoot with Robert Matthew, and then the one with Phil Fewsmith that we did.
Mm-hmm. I like the Fewsmith pictures. I wondered whatever happened to those.
Oh yeah, I do. I know where they are. Just give me a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the question about people playing music. Tiffany's doing it, and now she's doing a lot of Carter family stuff, Tiffany style, which is neat. She's like embracing her Carter family heritage, because I said, Tiff, I'm not going to be doing this forever. You know, I'm either going to drop dead of natural causes, possibly, or I'm going to jump out of the wrong tree the wrong way, or go into the bathroom and accidentally fall over. I guess shit could happen, but I'm just like, it can't just stop here. It's got to keep going, because as far as I know, we are probably the most, the family that has really passed down the music of the original and passed it down and then improved upon that in a different way, a different style. Or, you know, the sisters were way more harmonious in their delivery of the songs. And then me, the way I do my stuff is like a little bit more energy, and then sometimes not. But I wanted to say that I kept telling her, you need to do this. And, you know, when you're telling your daughter what to do,
No, that doesn't work.
I stopped saying anything about it. I said, you know, you can always use this as an infiltration system. You know, you take those 80-year-old fans that are out there all day long, take them. They want to see you do this stuff. And that's the thing about it, is it's like, because of this long line of singing and writing and then carrying it all on, there are the fans that remember, you know, when Mother Maybelle got put in the Country Music Hall of Fame, or remember them in the Opry, and they're little old men with walkers that come to see me play for them to turn down. And I'm like, well, they were probably like, you know, running the college radio station when I was first starting out.
Can you tell us what's going on at the Johnny Cash Museum now, and how involved are you? What are some of the exhibits? Can you play live there? How does it work?
They just now started to do stuff there again, because we're in a spike right now with COVID. And I don't know how much longer things are going to stay open again. To be honest, it's really hard to know. It's been I'm not involved in anything of it, other than if I get some free stuff every time we change. Every time we change t-shirt manufacturers or designs, I get one of everything, and I get coffee.
Oh
and all these little things that are fun.
I want one.
I'll send some coffee mugs.
I need it.
Yeah. And what was I saying? Where was I?
So does it have a restaurant, and what are the different exhibits and things in the Johnny Cash Museum?
You were saying it's not hold because of COVID, because it got kind of bad out there.
They just opened last year. They had just opened the saloon and kitchen. It's called. It's next door to the museum, and it's basically meat and three kind of barbecue food, and very, very high in cholesterol and gluten. all the goodness is in there. And it's like going to the cafeteria and getting everything that you're not supposed to eat, but it's so good.
Oh, that expression, you taught that to me last time when I was in Nashville. I had never heard meat and three in my life. Jesse, Jen, did you know that?
No.
Oh, never heard of that.
Meat and two, but that's another topic.
Okay.
So it has a saloon and this whole food experience, and then it has the exhibit. And what does the exhibit have?
It has stuff from the house that we lived in on the lake. It has letters from John to his first wife. It has, you know, various clothing items. It's got so much stuff in it. And every time I go there, they've added something to it. But there is, I can't remember what was there when you were here, Marina. I haven't been there since then, by the way. It's why it's hard for me to remember. Going there, it's like I'm going down memory lane for me, because almost everything that's in that place I've either seen or I know about. And it's like going through the house in a weird way. But it's funny, they let me come in and they let me bring whoever I want to, and they don't charge me for the pictures with Johnny. And so I feel like I'm a big dog, but walking around, I want to tell my friends about stuff. And sometimes somebody they'll latch on so they can hear the dirty, really going on. It's got a lot of different things, and it's always evolving. And right now, Nashville's struggling to keep music alive, live music going here. And it's mainly just we've been hard hit by the Country Music Hall of Fame lost $22 million so far in revenue by being closed for as long as they were. They're open now and at limited capacity. but we had a big benefit for them called Big Night at the museum.
Oh,
And so I'm
wow.
involved as much as I can be in preserving country music in any way that I can help it get preserved and stay preserved and honored. And I keep saying, "What can I be a member of the Grand Ole Opry?" I think I should be. And they're just wait and see what happens. I'm going, you wait too long.
So you've worked in so many. Sorry, you've worked in so many genres. When are we going to hear your electronic album?
Oh, that was the 5th album, and that really was interesting.
What is some of your favorite? What's your favorite Carter family song, and what's your favorite Johnny June song?
Johnny and June's song. I like "You Long-Legged Guitar Picking Man." That weekend, you big mouth woman, you long-legged guitar picking man. That's one of my favorite duets they did. And Carter family song, I would say, I love "The Storms Are on the Ocean." It's one of my favorite things to do live.
Can you sing it?
I'm going away to leave you, love. I'm going away for a while, but I'll return to you sometime. If I go 10,000 miles, storms are on the ocean. Heaven's mercies to be.
Oh, that was great.
It's so poetic, and it gives me cold chills when I've seen it. Even when I've seen that song, I get cold chills.
How about of your own songs?
Of my own songs?
Yeah.
Well, I have ones that I think are good songs. I think "Easy From Now On" I wrote when I was quite young. I wrote it when I was 20, and it was my first big cut that Emmylou cut. It led to a lot of things. It's also been recorded by just about every country chick in the universe. My fan club guy likes to say all the country divas. Yeah, so that is a favorite of mine because I was like, I knew it was a good song. I wrote it with Susanna Clark, who was a great songwriter, and I'm proud of that song. I'm also proud of a couple of songs that were autobiographical that helped me heal in grief. Well, there's one about me bottoming out on drugs and alcohol called "Change" that I really love. And then there's one about my little sister Rosie called "Stronger." And it was something that made me be able to get through the feeling of, I don't know, I'm so incredibly heartbroken, I don't know what to do, and not, go to something else to do. And the last few years have been rough on me personally, in a lot of ways, but I had the good sense to know I needed to come back home. My marriage was not doing well, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to go home and I'm going to write songs, and you can either get on the bus and come with me or not. And it just didn't work out. So
do you tend to write on piano, or do you write on guitar?
I love writing ballads on the piano because there's some sort of heart connection with me and the keyboard. I very rarely write an up-tempo song on the piano. It's just leans way more into like trilly stuff. And but the guitar, if I write something on electric, it's going to be really rocking. If I write something on the acoustic these days, I'm actually trying to break this chain that I'm in. It's going to sound like a Carter family song. So I'm trying to get back to Carter picking a little bit and get back to my rock and guitar playing.
Do you still have your Danny Farrington custom guitar?
I still need to hear more about the pedal board, though. I want to hear what you've got on there. Yeah, I've got a giant pedal board, so I need to know what you've got.
Well, mine's not giant. It's the first round.
You'll get there. Just trust me, you will.
No, now that I've made friends with the guy at Electro Harmonics in New York, I think I'm in good shape. Yeah, baby. I got the Holy Grail at Reverb from them. I got the Mellotron, the Mel 9.
Mellow, yeah, Mellow, right.
9, I think it's called. It's got 9 different things, which is going to be interesting because I have no idea what it's going to sound like or what it does.
Oh, it's really interesting. I had it for a while. I want to get it back, but because Mellotron's cool and it does sound like it. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm excited. So maybe I can just play one chord and then.
My kid Eden has a giant pedal board. It's like you're like 4'11" and a half. And your pedal board is like the biggest size ever. Yeah, she's like the size of Judy Garland. Yeah, but her pedal board is like the biggest enormous thing on the planet.
So, Carlene, can we look forward to an online show in the next few months?
An online show?
Yeah.
I might have to have a Christmas party or something.
Definitely.
I did have one for my mom's birthday. I threw a birthday party in this room, in my little music room here. And I had balloons and I put roses everywhere. And I told stories about June. And I was going to do one for my birthday, but I went to Montana instead.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you have to have a Facebook Live or some kind of really cool, because you were doing some cruise ships, weren't you? Some themed.
I've gone on the there's a couple of ones that I've been on, the Outlaw Country cruise I've been on. Yeah, and that's a lot of fun. This last time was right before it was in February, the beginning of February, and we went to Jamaica, and I got to take a lot of the people from the shows on the boat to the house up in Cinnamon Hill, where my folks' house there. Wow. And we had a wonderful brunch, and Chris Christopherson and his wife were there.
Oh.
So Chris and Lisa were there, and my good friend Elizabeth Cook and her sweetie pie, Wade Sapp. And we had the best time. And there's guys there that worked with Chris and some of the guys that worked with Sirius XM, because that's the Outlaw Country Cruise. And then there's the Kayamo Cruise, which is more geared towards the serious, more songwriting kind of stuff, and not maybe as raw and raunchy.
Can you see yourself doing a duet with like Emmylou Harris?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. I'm thinking of cutting Storms Are on the Ocean for the next thing I do. And I have a couple of new songs that I'm real excited about that are nothing like I've done in a while, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do it. It's like, I'm not really, having had studios in my houses over the years, you would think I would know what the hell I'm doing, but as soon as I don't live with a studio in the house, I forget everything I learned up to that point. And then I have to go back and start all over. And now everything's digital, and I'm still in the analog world. And I'm like, how am I going to get tape up those stairs?
Well, you're in the right town. I think people will know what to do.
Yeah, I've got some great guys in my band, and my keyboard player lives about 2 miles away, and he's got his whole new setup there. So we're gonna go make stuff up.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, be spontaneous.
It's like
have fun.
a backstage pass show.
Yay.
Yeah. We had some shows we had to cancel, but yeah, we will be at a bowling alley near you sometime soon.
Yeah, in January we played at a bowling alley. It was actually a nice little like bar room, and it was. We
had a good crowd.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Bowling.
One of my friends gave me a shirt, and she had no idea about backstage passes. It says no backstage passes on it, and it's a white sweater, and it's black letters, no backstage passes. If you look online, you might see a picture of me in at a gig somewhere.
Okay, we'll send you a backstage pass T-shirt.
Okay, great, and you can wear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come I do a live stream.
Okay.
Look, Carlene, it is such a treat to spend Sunday morning with you and to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm not gonna just talk to you like this. We're gonna keep talking later.
Okay.
Later, taters.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Meet you too, hon. I can't wait to hear backstage pass.